Yes, yes.
Okay, so
Perfect.
yeah, so now that I know your life story, let's do it all over again. Oh my
I see
God.
it
Y-
already.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as as soon as you, from my end, as soon as you push stop, it starts dumping down the record, and it didn't do it. I was like, what is going on here?
Oh my God. Yeah.
So yeah, so we'll
Now,
so we'll try this all over again here.
okay.
Thank you again for jumping on the Toddcast here in Vancouver. How are, and we actually never really touched on this. How are you dealing with COVID? How is your world, and on the other side of the planet, how is everything in your world in that regard?
Well, if I have to be honest, first of all, my family or someone who's really close to me didn't affect by COVID yet. One, two, three.
Right.
But so in my close circle, I don't know anyone who is affected by COVID. The most so that's why I'm really happy about that. Everyone is still healthy, and I not have everyone or anyone really close to me that's really affected by the disease. But so that's the first one that I'm really happy about. So it's not really that it like that scares me off, or it scares me off, but it's not like it's hurting me inside because no one around me is still healthy. So
Right.
first of all, that I'm really happy about. But if I see how the world is changing and how I see like I have friends with businesses, and like that part is really hard because and confused, because that's how I see how people are really hurting, like their business is closed, no customers, like the financial things is really difficult for those people. So that's what I see. Okay, COVID is really like hard for people and for this world right now. So
Yeah.
yeah, but if I have to be honest, for my personal life, I'm still training. If I cannot train inside, I train outside. That's something that really learns me, because in the beginning I don't love to go into training cold or training outside. But now COVID really learns me that I can train outside, and actually I really love it now outside. So yeah, personally it's not really affected me, but how I see how it affects the world, that is something that really like hurting me. So
Right. And that's something that you have to deal with, like the COVID protocols and the pandemic, whatever the rules, let's say. That's something that as a fighter for Bellator MMA, that's something that, how long were you quarantined again? You said it was 3 days, and
yeah, 3 days in the hotel room. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, for before the fight. Yeah.
Right. And that last fight, I was saying, don't blink because it's over in a literally matter of seconds. So maybe talk about that again, because I thought that was an interesting part of the conversation we literally just had. But talk about again about watching your opponents, and like how much tape do you watch prior, and like getting you don't want to watch too much because you almost get yourself psyched out for it, right?
Well, it's funny because if I fight an opponent, I just watch everything that she do, like in the fight. And also with my trainer, Bob Schreiber, we have like our plan is really like focus on any fighter, but in that fight I already know what she's gonna do, how she's gonna stand, how she acts about that thing or that thing. So I just really focus on my opponent. So if I fight someone, I'm just like I'm going inside their mind. I know that them so really good that I think that they don't even know that. But
Yeah.
that's why I see everything coming in the fight. If she doing that, I see it coming because I already see it in my mind before. So that's also something about my mental part. Now I'm so calm and I'm so relaxed that I just see everything coming. So that's why I don't scared, or I'm not surprised in the cage or in the ring what someone is doing, because I already know that. So yeah, that's also something about the mental part, like going in that situation and you recognize the situation and how you participate on the situation, and you see how my my last 4 fights are going.
Yeah, and you know, the interesting thing that you'd mentioned previous was, you know, that it wasn't necessarily like, yeah, it was Kate Jackson that you were fighting the last time, but ultimately you weren't preparing for her specifically. It was more of just like a well-roundedness, and you're ready to fight.
Yes, yeah, that was it. And that's the funny thing because that's exactly that combination what I threw on Kate Jackson. That was the right combination that me and my trainer Bob Schreiber we trained for hours. So exactly that combination, that was the right combination that was going in the cage and it works. And that was the same with Williams. That was the same with the Turkish girl. Every combination that I threw there, that was exactly combination what I train off. So yeah, that's the good and the confidence gonna build because you're gonna see, hey, this really works. Our plan works, and we continue with the plan, not exactly with the exactly same combinations, but my trainer Bob Schreiber, he have a plan for me, and everything that he say that works. So we continue with the plan, and I just follow his instructions, and I know that it's gonna be all right, and it's gonna bring the best MMA fighter in me. So I believe every word that he said, and I believe also that he's gonna make me a champion in MMA.
Right. And we're mentioning that you were tied, I think, is it 3 or 4 other fighters in Bellator where the four fight streak, and it was saying, you know, that must feel really nice. Um, when will you find out your next fight? Like, how much time will
Well,
you have to prepare for something like that?
well, I'm already in preparation. I'm always in fight camp. So even if I have a call and you can fight next week, I am ready.
Oh,
That's something that I'm really strict in. I'm always in training. So that's why if they coming with a latch option, also sometimes in kickboxing before I had like 2 days, who you want to fight, someone is canceled, can you? Of course I can fight because I always train. So my fight camp starts like 8 weeks, but if I have to fight like next week, I'm also ready because I'm
wow.
always in training.
Right, right. Okay, interesting. And I'd mentioned that I don't even know if I want to try to get to where we were before with the where I said, what's the most you've been hurt in a fight? And I was expecting you to say like, oh, somebody broke my arm, or you know, I thought it was something like that.
Yeah.
But you know, maybe if you could quickly glance over what you had said, you know, it was an interesting perspective. It was something that I was not expecting from you.
Yeah. uh yeah, that in fighting, because you give everything you have in fight camp or in training in your whole life. This fight is not for a fight camp, but it's just a life tradition. I wake up and I train. I develop myself more as a fighter, as an MMA fighter, and there's a lot of work to do. So every day that I live for my dream. And if you're going in a fight, and even if you get hurt with a bruise or an eye cut or something, or even broke your bones, but the worst part of fighting, and I think of fighting in every competition, is losing. The emotional part, like the physical part, is really like, um, you get over it, but inside, that part is really really like hurting a lot. And
Right.
that's why I'm saying, like, if I fight and I lose, after that mental part is really hard.
Interesting. Now, it's almost like it eats away at you. Like, are there fights that you felt you should have won that you lost? Or do you go into every single fight going like, I'm gonna win?
Yeah, if I fight someone, I for 1,000% I have like the mindset that I'm going to win. But the funniest part is that with my first MMA fight in Bellator, I fight after my win for the world title kickboxing. Bellator asked me, Are you able to fight also an MMA fight? Because now you win from everyone in the kickbox division. We don't have any opponents yet. So do you want to go to MMA? But the funniest part is that 3 years before, I did an MMA fight. And that MMA fight, I was still doing kickboxing. And I thought, okay, I do judo, so I can do also an MMA fight. And I did the MMA fight and I lost. But really with a strange arm bar in the stand-up position, it was like crazy. And after that, I told myself, because it was not that I take it easy on it, but I thought, oh, I was winning everything with kickboxing. I had black belt judo. So I thought at that time I can do also an MMA fight, you know.
Mhm.
But then it gets like worse, because then I go in there, I'm standing against a Brazilian girl, and she was really like on the ground, really good. And so I think I underestimate the sport, because I standing there and I think I'm just gonna fight my kickboxing thing, you know. And then I got in an arm bar, really, really like tight, and I have to tap. And after that, that was like, I think 2015, that was like 5 years from now.
Mhm.
And after that fight, after the MMA fight, I say to myself, I'm never ever gonna do MMA again.
Oh,
I'm not
really?
good at it. This is not my thing. I thought I can do it, but I couldn't, and I lost. And I that loss, that was also the emotional pain that I had, because in my face or something, I don't care. But inside, you get so hurt that it's like that's the worst pain you can ever have. And even that pain caused me that I was like bandit MMA in my life forever, So then I started kickboxing again, and then I start with Bellator kickboxing, and I win again a world title, and then again, and then after, so from I think 2 or 3 years from that fight that I lost, Bellator asked me, "Would you want to fight an MMA fight?"
Mm.
And that first thought that I was thinking about, because I was like totally bandit MMA in my life, I was thinking, okay, how can I, okay, what can I really do this again? MMA, I don't know if I'm really good at it. So I trained, but in the back of my mind, I still had that fight, that first fight. So I was like confident, but not really like the confidence that I always had.
Right.
And in that fight, it was in Israel against Jessica Middleton, and the fight for Bellator MMA. And the crowd was like boom. And Jessica Middleton was also a really good fighter. She was really good in the stand-up, and she had also like the purple belt in BAA. So I thought, okay, that was really like my mind was there, so focused about other side, can I do this? And the other side, you have to do this. So that was the confusing part, the mental issue. But that was what when my husband Hesty, he saw in my face before we walked into the cage. He saw my face from, hey, you're not like Denise that I used to
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
He because then the little thoughts in my mind came, hey, think about the first MMA fight that you fought, you lost, you cannot do this, you cannot
Right.
do this. And then you get smaller, and I was already standing on the catwalk. And then my husband told me, wake up, this is your dream, this, you want this, you're standing here, look at the crowd, look at the cage, this is your dream, don't think about the past, think about what you are doing now. So he's just giving me that wake up call, and I'm walking on the catwalk, and I'm thinking, yeah, what the hell am I thinking about,
Oh, snap out of it.
not this is this, I'm not gonna lose. And then after that fight, I think I was never ever so happy in my life before than that fight, because just like 10 minutes before the fight, I was thinking, hey, can I really do this? And then after that, because I won in 30 seconds, I won with the arm bar.
Oh yeah.
And that was something, that I was so happy that you win from your mind. It's not the win from Jessica Milton or the win in the fight, but that was really like a victory for my mind, because 10 minutes ago I was thinking about losing, and now I'm standing here dancing and celebrate my win. So how crazy a mind can change like the whole situation, the whole direction. But
Right.
after that fight, I knew, okay, this is what I want to be the champion in. And I still have that 1,000% focus still
The
right
drive.
now.
That's awesome. Yeah. And how much do you credit, because you were mentioning that you put that your dad had put you into judo at 9? How
Yes,
much do you credit him for where you are?
everything, everything. That I think that if my dad was not here, that I'm not sitting here. I thinking with this whole dream.
Hmm.
He he is he did, so many. Now that I'm older, I'm thinking about, wow, that every Saturday, really early in the morning, going with me to judo competitions all over the country, driving with me to the training every day, also for him, because I'm now, right now, at this point where I'm standing, all because of him. Because
Hmm.
at 9 years, and you have such a like support from your parents, and especially my dad, because he was really dedicated. He bring me to every training, to all over it doesn't matter where the training were or how long he has to drive. He just drove with me all over the
Just
whole place,
dedicated.
so really dedicated. And I think that if he wasn't there, that I'm not also not here.
Right. And when do you think parents should enroll kids? Because at 9, like nine's pretty old, not old, but like old-ish.
Yeah,
When do you think that parents should think about enrolling into martial arts?
I think that, like especially judo, I think that martial arts is really, really like important for every child, because it's not that you have to become a fighter, but about your self-aware. Martial arts really learns you how to respect others, how to develop yourself, how to make you stronger, give you confidence. And I think there is no other sport that can build that points in your mind. And I think as a child, for every child in the whole world, it's really important that you have the self-aware, that you can defend yourself, and you have like the confidence to do something with your own power. And the power is in your heart, it's in yourself, and not with weapons or with guns or something. But you have power, you have the power in yourself, and that's on your own body. And I think if you learn children that they're self-aware and the respect for others, because that's also something important in martial art, that you learn to respect others. And I think if every child, like, I think with judo you can start with 4 years.
Wow.
And if you just learn at 4 years old, and you can already learn, all the self-aware, that I think you can have like a whole nother humankind. If every man or every woman or what else just know about martial art, it's going to be a whole different world then.
Interesting. I do want to get outside of fighting again and what you're known for, but this one will be real fast. Um,
Yeah.
I want to get out of you the 3 albums that you would need if you're stuck on a deserted island.
Okay. The albums, do you mean like the music?
Yeah, like
The
what
Okay.
are the 3 albums that you need?
Okay, first of all, I think, just my roots. I need some salsa or merengue. So I love like Prince Royce,
Right.
or just like because I think Spanish music is really like make you happy. And then I have my emotional part that's gonna be like the typical Dutch music. So like André Hazes. And then the third one, it's really the part of just thinking about nothing, just going there, train, and that's like Latin house and house music.
Interesting.
So
So
those
you're
three,
taking a little bit from your mom with the salsa,
yes,
taking a little
yeah,
bit of your dad with the
yeah,
traditional Dutch
yeah,
music, and then you like
yeah.
that. And what did you say? I can't remember what you said your first concert was.
My first concert was also Prince Royce. Yes,
That's
that
right.
was
That's right.
10 years ago. Yeah, the Latin Spanish singer
Yeah.
Prince Royce. He was in Amsterdam, and I'm going to his concert. That was pretty nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. There was one thing that I wanted to. Oh, what's your favorite app on your phone? Somebody asked me that the other day, and I was like, wow, that's an interesting question.
Yeah, but that's a really interesting question because you have so much app, and now everyone is like the phone is their life. So
Totally.
it's crazy. But I think WhatsApp. Yeah,
What's up?
the first thing that I like if I put on my phone, I'm watching my WhatsApp messages. Yes.
Right. And which platform are you more active on? Like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter?
Twitter, I have to be honest, is not really that I'm really active on, but I love my Facebook, my like pagina, and I love my Instagram. Yeah, that's the two things that I'm most active on.
Right. And you're
Yeah.
saying you guys are working on a website. Would you think
Yes,
you'll have that
I'm
launched
working on the website.
by this
Yeah.
year at some point?
Yeah. This year is going to be a website also, and this year is going to be a lot of good things that are coming. So I'm really really excited for all of that that's coming.
Yeah. Title fight's got to be up there. Like that's got to be.
And that's in my. I
Yeah.
think I deserve it. If I look at I don't want to like put myself in front of anyone, but I really deserve that fight. And I think
You do.
that if I have to be honest, that there's no other girl in my division in Bellator that right now is gonna have the skills to fight against Julia Pelana, and Velasquez, sorry. And I think I have the skills, and I already been through that. I know she's big, I know she's a southpaw, and she's really good, but I already been through all that. So I think that I will be the best next challenger for her.
Yeah, I agree. What's been your career highlight thus far?
That far is like everything that I accomplished in my career is a highlight, and everything that I accomplished from my judo to kickboxing to this MMA fights, everything that I accomplished is like my highlight. And I'm thinking in the worst times from, okay, why am I doing this? Exactly for all those victories that I have made. And that's why I'm thinking like the MMA, because going from judo to kickboxing, now in MMA, like the MMA title fight and the MMA title is really the crown of my whole career. So every hour, every minute that I just spent in my whole life in martial arts, that MMA world title fight is the crown for everything of that.
So
So
like all building to that point.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
I think like if I did judo, I did kickboxing, but MMA is really like the typical thing of everything that comes together, and all those different disciplines come together in the cage. And to be the champion in that, I think you are just like the champion in everything in martial arts. Everything that martial arts stands for, you are the champion of it because everything comes in that cage. So that's my ultimate goal, to have like that red belt hanging here in Amsterdam on my wall.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good for you.
Next to
Thank,
my blue
thank
belt.
you again for taking some more time out of your day to
Thank
on it.
you. No
How
problem.
embarrassing to have to come back on and do this again.
Yeah.
Again, you're very easy to find online. Simply your name on
Yeah.
Twitter and at Miss Dynamite on Instagram. soon to
Yes.
launch the website, soon to place the red beside the blue.
Yes.
Thank you again
Um,
for taking some time, and have a great day.
Thank you. For you the same. Good
Okay,
night.
take care. See you
Thank
soon.
you.